Hello, I'm Nathan.
And I'm Jody, and this is Word on the Web. And I'm here with Nathan to get my next questions.
Yep. So last time we talked about the difference between the shelter, the emergency shelter that we currently have, and the new shelter, new reimagined shelter. I love that word because it has some real power to it, on State Street. And we sort of teased a little bit about programming and it being one of the major differences. And so some of the questions have been about programming. So can we start there and just grab one of those? Let's just talk about the medical unit as a pretty significant difference in what's available on State Street.
Yeah, I mean,
or will be available on State Street.
Yes, God willing.
Yeah.
So the difference, we have a medical program now. Quite honestly, that's what inspired, that's one of the main reasons we bought a new building. And so I'm going to take you back a little bit.
Okay.
When COVID hit and there had to become safe space to serve people and our emergency shelters open dorm.
Right.
We had to recognize that we couldn't create enough safety protocol to keep people alive based on
people too close. Social distancing was not an option. Really.
Right. So we had to find a way to maybe move our most medically vulnerable into another setting. And that's where the emergency funding came in through the government, FEMA, ARPA, CARES. All of that money was developed to help create safe protocol for caring for our unhoused population. And so when we got the hotel, we moved our families with children there, and we also moved our most medically fragile. And that was the first time we could ever actually care for medically fragile. So, you know how at the emergency shelter, it's just open dorms.
Right.
And so in order to deliver any kind of medical care, you have to...
Yeah, there's no privacy.
Right.
There's no privacy.
Right. And
can I interrupt you for just 1 second? And will you just define, because I know it's going to lead to a question, so let's answer it now. What does medically fragile mean?
So originally, with the pandemic, medically fragile were those who were immunocompromised.
Okay.
They had respiratory issues, maybe COPD, congestive heart failure, all of those kinds of risks that should you get COVID, there was a likelihood that you might not survive.
Right.
And so that was the definition going into the hotel program. So originally it was the families with children and the most medically fragile who were living in our shelter. We moved to this hotel shelter. And then the request was made, could we have more low barrier beds for more families and more medically fragile the numbers were going up as we were continuing to experience this pandemic. So we went from, I think it was 14 beds to 57 beds, 100 extra low barrier beds.
And requests coming from whom?
The city of Boise, the hospitals where they were having people getting stuck on medical floors. And so what first started as like, you might be at risk of getting sick became this person's too sick to release back to the street, but they're not sick enough to stay in a hospital bed.
Sure.
And so that allowed us to create this medical respite program where we would help take care of those who were going to get better, but we had to get them stronger first. And what that allowed us to do was to partner with the hospitals, and they would bring home health for those who had a health plan.
Right.
And then there were times where it was actually hospice. There was someone who was not going to have much more life left to them, but they deserved a graceful and safe place to end their journey. And so suddenly we became a homeless shelter that could deliver hospice care.
I mean, essentially, it's the continuum of care and extension, of services. That's powerful.
Well, it is kind of amazing. Quite honestly, it's been an honor for us to do. It is a very heavy thing, but like the community that wraps themselves around those guests who are with us, who are end of life, because the families with children are there. They did not die alone. They were supported. They had help from many, and you don't want anyone to die alone.
Yeah.
And
okay, so then what does the medical program look like in the new shelter?
So it's a medical dorm. It's been designed so that we can deliver home health and hospice because we've created privacy within the dorms. There are hospital beds and there are hospice rooms. There's 2 hospice rooms where end of life can be done with support, but also with privacy and
Privacy, dignity.
dignity.
Yeah.
Yep. And we are in partnership with Terry Riley Health Services and Full Circle Health. There's an exam room and there's a nursing station, and we have residents from Full Circle Health in partnership with supervision by Terry Riley Health Services to deliver care to the guests within that structure. It also is allowing us to create clinic hours and things for our general population as well to help with those long-term chronic things like diabetes, congestive heart failure, wound care.
Right.
So the hotel inspired what has now become, like, I think, a state-of-the-art, probably one of its kind medical dorm
Solutions for the community.
Yeah. And what it is sure to do is to take pressure off that emergency medicine
I was
system.
just thinking that because right now the only option is to call emergency care, right?
After we've exhausted everything else.
Right,
We do the best we can, but we don't have a facility within our emergency shelter. Now at the hotel, you can see that the call volume barely exists because there's that stability of being able to be someplace 24/7, which looks again at like why a housing first model, because when you have a place to be day and night, your health outcomes automatically improve.
Yeah, the stability supports recovery.
Totally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, I think that is really exciting. It's exciting to think that there is a permanent solution. What started at the hotel has demonstrated its real value, and it's going to be a permanent solution available to our guests. So the next time, some questions have come in, so let's talk about mental health.
I'd love to.
Does that sound good?
It's fantastic.
All right, well, that's it for today on Word on the Web, and
We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.